Hey, it's Brett. I want to do a follow-up to a video I made on adding fifths to the bass. I just started making this video and realized I should probably just play it and not talk at all. So see what I'm doing. What I would challenge you is, as I'm playing, think to yourself, how would you want me to explain what I'm doing if this seems hard to you? If it's easy for you, that means you're a pretty advanced guitar player. So if you can see what I'm doing, then good for you. But if not, how would you want me to explain this? Would you want me to use tab? Would you want me to have chord charts? Would you want me to show you everywhere my fingers are? What would you ask me to do? Okay, so I'm gonna play it and then I'll break it down. I think it'd be better. So here we go. Third part. I had more parts I made up the other night. I was just noodling around, and I wasn't really planning to make this lesson, but I thought this is the kind of stuff that when I was taught, it really helped me with guitar, so I'd share it. And I actually had one more part. Let me play it. This does not use fifths, and then I'll explain it. So the very last part went. Like this. Now it got out of the fist. Okay, so that took a few minutes, like a normal song, but how would you want me to explain that in the fastest way? So most beginners would say, please just write the tab. And if I was teaching this, I might do it to a beginner, but I would assume they wouldn't understand what I'm doing. They could just play it. The tab is not the way you want to learn stuff like this. It's too slow. It also kind of overcomplicates what's happening. What about telling you what the chords are? That could help, but you notice I was hitting a lot of open strings. So to be honest, when I'm playing, I don't know exactly what these chords are. I know the mood of the chord. I don't care if it's like a C9 or C major 7, C13. I don't care what's happening. So I'm not thinking about it that way. That would also be too complicated. Actually, all I'm doing is I'm saying, what's the key of this song? I'm gonna figure that out by ear, by noodling around for a second. I wanna know what the key is. If it's changing keys, that's question 1. Then I wanna know what the chords are. Or I might just play it. Sometimes I'll just watch someone play something and just play it and then figure out what I said. Because sometimes I'm like, all right, what's that person doing? And then in the course of that, I'll figure out what the key is and usually what the chords are. Or I'm like, I don't know what those chords are. I'm just gonna start to play it till I get it and then my brain will catch up. Okay. So let's go through the parts real quick. So with this first part, went like this. It went. Okay, so remember, this is about adding fifths in the bass. So the first part, all that's really happening is these notes. Ready? That's where the root notes are. The key is C. The key is C major. This is C. I'm in regular tuning, but so it goes C. So 3, 5, 7. So C, D, E, F. So it's just going up. Then the next thing I would do is, what kind of chord is it? Major or minor? So it's going to go C major, D minor, E minor, F. This is definitely, as you go from beginner to intermediate, you need to learn these little 2-note shapes. C, D minor, E minor, F. So do that next. That's what I would see if I saw someone playing this, just that. That's actually what my eye would see. I wouldn't care about the open strings or that. I hear the mood and I would see C. I would actually ignore the fifth in the bass because I've done enough. It might trick me for a second, but I would hear that also. It sounds like kind of sounds like ascending chords. So try this next. C, D minor. Everyone's done that shape. Plays guitar for more than a year. F. So learn that next. You've heard songs that do that. Now we're gonna add the fifth in the bass. So what you do is you kind of refinger it. You can't really finger it like that. It would feel awkward. I either do it like this or like this, which is what I went over in a week in the first lesson, which I'll link to. So you could play like this, where you're basically moving this finger to here, this to here. You got to be able to see the shape and finger it whatever makes sense best. Now it sounds a lot cooler, and then let's not hit the open strings yet. It already sounds cooler just having the fifth in the bass. So there's that. On the next one, you want to put these 2 fingers on the bottom, like this, like you're doing a power chord, and then this. So if you can't spot that shape, you might not realize this is a D minor with A in the bass. So you probably saw I was fingering it like this, this. Sometimes it's easier just to do it like this, where you keep these fingers down, just like power chords. It's very easy. I lock those fingers together like a power chord, and then so middle finger would be here, C, slide over 2, put this on 3, then do it again over a whole step, so it's 7-7-5, 7-7-5. This is E minor with B in the bass. And then here I just moved over and then used my middle finger. Now it's 8-8-7. This is F. So learn that next. I use those shapes a lot. That's the major and minor. They sound really cool. This E minor is really cool. You can also hit the open. If you ever need a different E minor. Okay, then all you do is you do the same thing. You add the open strings. And like I said, I don't really care what the chords are. I can figure it out. I think more about the mood of the chords. It sounds kind of a little bit sad, a little bit like a yoga studio. It sort of sounds like an open landscape. If you think in terms of colors, it's kind of like watery colors, a lily pond or something. I love this chord. I really like F with B in it. But this, and then you just strum it. You can strum it however you want. That was just the way that sounded good to me. You can also pick. Now I'm going to do the next part of the song. So try to get that down and just play around and make up your own thing. I use these shapes all the time. Super useful. It's useful in the key of G also. And then we're going to go up to here. Now I'm going to play it and see if you could maybe guess what I'm doing. So. I was tempted while I was playing through to add notes, but try to keep it simple. That's where we get a little more advanced. What would you spot there? For me, I see the bar chord from years of playing guitar. I'm like, all right, he's probably doing something with this shape, just seeing that, because it looks like it. But what's happening is, here's the root, which is actually the same as down here. This is A. So 7. And this is an A minor, which actually would be the same as that, moved up an octave. And here's the 5th. But it's easy as you get better guitar to sort of also think of the bigger shapes. So this is A minor. If you've got rid of the root, like a power chord, 1, 5, that's what I call the 5 chord, is right here. Then the octave is always like that. There's the minor shape. So this is the root. If you ever play blues, you do that a lot. The same feeling, like pretend you're gonna play a bar chord or power chord, get rid of this, move it up to there, and then I'm muting this with my thumb, and I'm just. Then I'm moving down, and notice my middle finger. That's like a G chord. So this is G, it's just a little bit strange. This is the G right here. Same thing, these two. I'm just going to use the same fingering. These fingers aren't going to leave. It's going to slide because it's easier. The less you pick up your fingers from the guitar, the more you don't have to look at your hands. It's just easier. So, it's easier to do this than it would be to go like. I would do that if I needed to, but if you don't, it's just easier to slide. So 7, 7, 5, 0, 0. So I would mute here. And there I want to like add something to it in my mind when I'm hearing it. Like I want to hear that. So then, maybe it's just accenting that A, but it sounds really cool. I love this chord. F with the B. If you ever want to get away from just boring stuff, just try F with the B. It goes well with C major 7. Okay, so one thing I threw in there to make it more advanced was this. So kind of getting intermediate advanced. Doing more syncopated, like on the up strum, so it's like bam, 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 bam. So to make that quick chord change, also will force you into the right fingering habits. Anytime you need to move fast, you have to learn the right way to finger stuff. So notice, if I were to go, I can do it kinda, but that has more room for error. Moving this finger versus these, this is real easy. And it's more natural like this, so watch. You almost don't even see my hand move, it's just sliding back and forth. So if you want to switch these chords, the same kind of treat on here. See how fast you can go, right? So what's happening is these stay stuck like a power chord, and then you're just switching these fingers. So here's the second part. Okay, then the next part, I wanted to show something else kind of interesting. So this was a little artificial, but it's also kind of cool. So there we go. Now we go back to the first chord. So this chord, real quick, this was A minor with the 5 in the bass, G, and F. Then we're going back to here. This is C with G in the bass, C with the 5 in the bass. And then we're going to the diminished, which is, so what this one's a little more interesting. This would be a B diminished chord wash. You actually have to go like, here we're going 2, 0, and then 3. So this is the 1, the flat 3, and the flat 5. You kind of can't get them on 3 strings there though, because they're close together. But this, the octave is here, so what we're doing is we're putting the flat 5 in the bass, which is the 5 of that. That's the one exception where it doesn't go right below. So then, so we're going here. So I'm going to call it out like a tab, but you need to understand this is the root, C, B, and the 5 is not here because it's the 7, it's here to stay diatonic in the key of C. F sharp would not be in the key of C, so you have to go here. That's just true for the 7 chord. It's diminished. So this is the 5 of the root. This is the flat 5 for the 7, which is what you need. And then we're hitting the open D, so it does work. Sounds very tense. It's kind of cool though. So it goes 3, 3, 2, but the root is here. So tab is not helpful and it's a little bit confusing, so I'm giving the tab. And what I would do is slide this finger over and then put your first finger. Slide it to there, first finger on 1, 1, 2, 0. What I want to do is I want to go to A minor over with the 5th in the bass. All right? So I want this note, and this note. So this would not be the full minor chord. So I need the C. So what I did is I did something more tricky because I want the bass to go. But this needs to be an A minor, so it needs to have the 3 notes. So I can't get this C in the bass, I could get this C in the bass, which if you look at how the guitar's doing, C. Right here, this is D, it's easier to go from here. D, C, so that's an A minor chord. This is A, C, E. So this is actually the same pattern, just a trick to get that note in the bass. I could have done it here and muted. Or I could play like the whole thing. But then we're duplicating these two, right? So it's a little different because one note is an octave higher than the others, but I wanted to show something a little more advanced, how you can still kind of get the bass dissension and then move it up. So watch. Oops. And I was just toggling a note. You could add like, that sounds kind of cool, actually go to B, so watch. I kind of like dun, 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 just keep it simple. So the chords there were C with the 5, which is G, 3rd fret in the bass, B diminished. With the flat 5 in the bass, which is needed for 7, which is diatonic to the key. And then this is the root, the 5, and then the flat 3 is here. Does it get more advanced? I was trying to make it harder and harder as it goes, if you can tell. And I was trying to make it like a real song. I was just jamming and realized, oh, this would be cool. Now the next part is definitely the trickiest. So this is more advanced. So here I go. So how would you analyze that? When I see that, I kind of think of, I kind of see this. I don't know if you've ever seen songs that do that. So my ears kind of like, something's going like ding, 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 ding when I first see it. But then I'm also probably just gonna play along and then let my brain catch up. Not try to think first, but play first and then think. But here, you can see it also looks like this. So actually we're back to D minor, this is 10. You can kind of see these shapes as the full bar chord, and you can kind of see, oh, even though I'm not holding the root, there's D. So this is 12, 12, 10. If you have certain acoustics, this will be hard, unless you have able to get up here, but sorry if you can't. So I'm going 12, 12, 10. And then I'm picking some notes, because then when I was playing it, I heard more melody. So I could do this the whole song, but I was trying to keep it simpler. What I'm doing, I'm going strumming to here, really. And then the next chord goes to here. So, whoops, it goes. So this one is the same shape as here. So as you start to spot these shapes, hopefully, you could think, well, what is that? Well, that's G. So we're going D minor to G. So it's going. My pinky is going up to there. You got to kind of use your ear. When I hear stuff like this, I use my ear heavily. Like I can close my eyes and figure it out if I know the chords. I do not use visual information as much, which is scary when you're first learning music. It's kind of weird. Use your ear. That's why I hum a lot. And sometimes I'll just go. And then here, so it's that shape, and then down to here on 10. So 12, 12, 10 with the zeros, excluding that, and then down to the 6th string, 10, 10, 9 with all zeros. Then you just move that shape up. Here I'm going, so this is a C. This is part of the C bar. But here I am going to hold it like this because I need this pinky. I can't do it this way, it wouldn't work. And then you take this finger and move it down over to and down to here. This is F again. This is from this shape. This is the root. There's F. So it's basically the minor shape. Then you go down to this 10, but the root is here. So this is G. Then you move that shape up to here, and then down to here. Now this note is more of a stretch, so I'm on 8, and my pinky goes up to there. And to learn this kind of stuff, literally you have to use your ear. You cannot, you can try to visualize it. I had to make that switch because when I first started guitar, I was very visual, and then what I realized is close your eyes and try to hum it in your mind. If you can learn to do that, it makes things so much easier. So listen. You should be able to strum it and hear those notes. but it's that's the melody basically. If you can learn that skill, then you can move around the guitar. That's kind of how you solo. You hear the melody, then you just noodle around. Okay, so there's that part. I'll play it one more time. And then the very end, I was like ready to resolve it and brighten the mood and do something different. So it goes like. Like dun, 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 dun. So here I'm going, all I'm really doing is this. I'm going from the major third to the fifth. I just do this a lot, so it's like it brightens it. It goes from a major to a power chord. Power chord's a little brighter actually sounding sometimes than a major. So it's going like. This chord is a C, and then I go to the 5, to G. But I leave this open, so this is F, this is 8, 10, 10, but I'm leaving the G string, E string, and then I'm muting here. So it's like, why did I come up with that? Because in my mind I heard the melody, and then the melody drove the chords. So I was like, it was going up, and then I figured it out. That's kind of like as you play music more, your brain will hear the melody, and then you want to make it work. So listen. Oops, sorry. That's the note I wanted. And then I'm like, well, which chord would work? I tried a few. And then I'm like, okay, now it feels like it's ready for a different part. And then you go take this shape, C. This is a C bar chord, but with leaving this open. It's like a power chord with pinky here. And actually what I want to do is add the fifth and the bass, so watch. Then I'm going to get rid of this. This is sort of an A minor. And I'm going to go up to 10. So it's like, so I'm still using the fifth and the bass, which is sort of my constraint making the song up. That is this is an A minor actually. If you ever learned this shape, it's kind of like, because C and A minor are very similar. This is an A minor, but I'm strumming all the strings. This is an A minor. This is an A and an E. This is an A minor with the fifth and the bass. So watch. Just hit everything. Slide up to 10. And here, I'm hitting, this is 8, 10, skip a string, open, 10, so everything's open, and then I'm barring those bottom two, so I'm getting the fifth and the bass. And then I slide that whole thing up, so this is an F with the fifth and the bass up to G. There, I want to do something else, but nothing's worked yet. I want to hear like, something more, but I'm a little limited by the positioning of the fingers because I can't go like, I could take that off and do it, watch. Then I'm kind of losing this. So sometimes with guitar, it's like I know what I want to do, especially when you're playing by yourself, but I don't know how to do it yet. And then sometimes you just can't, sometimes you find a different way, so. Sick, actually. I think I might have just solved my problem. So I omitted the very last note, which I notice happens a lot. Like if you're mixing melody and chord, it's like I'm missing that note, but I have a feeling it doesn't really matter because your ear kind of picks up on it. Or I might just be hitting it somewhere else, but sometimes like your ear will fill in these blanks when you're switching chords. So you can sort of drop off one note like when you're changing. So anyway, this lesson's super long. I doubt people will get to this point, but I'm just trying to put stuff out there that's actually useful, and then I'll probably start making lessons with other people's songs again. But to really get good at guitar, this is the stuff you need to learn. I had a friend that showed me this stuff when I was able to play Radiohead and like hard stuff and thought I was good. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't really understand. He was just playing stuff like this. I'm like, I can't do it without a tab. And it exposed me kind of. I was like, oh, I can play Paranoid Android, but I couldn't play this. So that's kind of why I'm sharing some stuff. But you know, a lot of people on YouTube just want to learn other people's songs. That's fine. So I might as well play through. It's long, but what's another 5 minutes gonna hurt? And then if anyone has any questions, let me know. So I'm just gonna jam on this for a minute, try to play through. And but you'll notice if you go to shows, you'll see people doing this stuff, rhythm guitarists. Like, you'll definitely see these shapes. Sometimes I'll add the root, but anyway, here we go. So. So usually, if I'm jamming like that, then you start to like see different things you can do. And then that usually creates way more song ideas. So something I was kind of playing with there that I was getting excited about was this line of notes. It has these notes, and then I was gonna like figure out some of the harmonics. So it's like, I was going to do with it. And then also sometimes just exploring like I was doing, you start to see the fretboard different, and because you're in the mindset of different shapes, different stuff will start to happen. So that went long, but anyone who made it to the end, there's a lot of stuff that it's kind of stuff that helped me to actually get good at guitar. Not that learning tabs doesn't help, but learning your scales can help, but also like noodling with stuff like this where you're in a key, you're adding open strings, you're using inversions, you're doing stuff like that. And adding the fifth in the bass is super common and it sounds good. So I hope that was helpful. See ya.